In my hands, I have two golf clubs. Two golf clubs which essentially should be exactly the same loft, exactly the same length, exactly the same spec of club. These are both hybrids, potentially very forgiving hybrids, and hybrids that could help your game. Now, one of these hybrids costs £199. The RRP is more than that. The RRP is £229. This costs £14.99. Now, I've reviewed both these hybrids today. I've hit lots and lots of shots with them out on the golf course, in the studio for numbers. We're going to see how they perform, and we're going to hit a couple of shots out here on the golf course with them both right now. So, Bobby, which one should I go with first? We obviously have the Wilson Dynapower, and we have the Slazenger, what's it, V300? Right, we'll go with this first. So they're both four hybrids, aren't they, essentially? 200 yards out here, uphill, into the par 4. I think this looks really good. I think for £200 you would hope it looks really good. And when we hit it today, it's performed really nicely. That's all over the flag. I can't hit a better shot than that from this distance. It's pitched up there. It's going to release out a little bit. And what I like about this club is the kind of element of technology that's in there. So we have an AI-driven face. We have lots and lots of really nice new shaping. So yeah, we've got a new shaping on the toes, you can see from just behind that mud, but also the shaping on the bottom. So if you've watched the full review of this, you will have seen that we've got a little bit of kind of new shaping on the bottom here, like a V-steel element sole kind of thing that's not a V-steel sole, because TaylorMade would sue them if it was a V-steel sole. But a bit like a V, innit? Like a U sole. But where that helps is here, because even if I catch that a little bit heavy, you can see, Bobby, that is terrible. No spatial awareness whatsoever. But it glides through the turf nicely. It does a good job. It does what I want it to do. £200. Now, £200 is, always will be, and always has been a lot of money. Like, it just is. Especially for a hybrid that like replaces your 4-iron. Like, I think essentially if it's £200 for maybe a 3-wood, or I mean especially a driver that you're going to hit off most tees, I get it. I get spending £200. I think £14.99, your wife doesn't even ask the question. Your husband doesn't ask the question. Nobody asks the question of, oh, that's new, is it? Doesn't look new. I've hit this 5 times outside. We've hit it quite a lot of times inside, so we'll talk numbers. But it's not causing any arguments. I went and bought this when my wife was in Sholstrom.
Sanderson's?
I don't know what it's called, Bob. It's like a furniture shop. Yeah.
Oh,
what's it called?
Sanderson's is the department.
Maybe it's Sanderson's. I don't care what it's called. She went and spent a load of money on a stool I'm not bothered about, okay? I got this and a driver and a 3-wood, and I'm quite happy with that. I'm a man of little needs. So £14.99 for a hybrid, I'm all over that shit. So, can we hit one now that compares or competes to that Wilson? How good does this have to be? I think if it's anywhere near that, obviously it's a steel shaft, so it's heavier. Now I've pulled that a little bit, but that's a good kick away from being quite close. We've got decent turf interaction. We don't really have the technological advancements that the Wilson had, and I'm going to say that wasn't as good a swing as with the Wilson. I think the weighting is quite difficult to get used to, especially if you're jumping in and out, but then if you have steel shafts in all your irons, it's probably easier because it is what it is. Let's go up there, let's see where they are. We're going to talk dribs and drabs of numbers in this video as well, because I think more people will be interested in ball speed, spin rate and distance than how close you can get to a flag. But I personally love trying to hit it close to a flag for less than a 5, guys. Okay, that is nothing short of remarkable for the first shots of this comparison. So the first shot that we hit with the expensive hybrid, I thought was really, really good. It was a little bit long. It's pitched bang next to the flag, as you can see right there. It's released out a little bit. I would expect that with a hybrid, you're not going to get them to stop incredibly quickly. The second shot we hit with the more budget club, there, it's closer. It took a very lucky bounce. That pitched like over here and kicked in. But realistically, if we're going on a nearest to pin comparison, and the shot was nowhere near as good. But I mean, if we're going on like pitching it flag high, Bob, look at that. If it stops better, it's a better shot, isn't it? But it didn't, so 1-0 to the Slazenger. So that, I think, is a really interesting start to this video, to this debate. Now, we're in the rough, we're into the wind this time, and we're similar yardage out, like 200 yards. I want to be able to flight this down. And I know that's asking a lot from a club that cost less than like Bobby's lunch today. Bit of a bougie lunch, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah, right. And I'm going to go cheap club first this time. It's very heavy, so it's going to be harder to kind of control that dynamic loft to get it coming out. But I can still get decent ball speed from this. So I'm going to try and just going to send one in a bit lower. That's done really well, hasn't it? Go on, chase up. I think it's well short though. I think that is quite short. It felt okay as a strike. Actually sounds more like an old persimmon club, that, doesn't it? Like, it sounds really, really kind of firm, I suppose you could say. I think this might do better in this kind of predicament, this scenario. Let's see. It might not do. If it doesn't, then again, are we being ripped off? Did you hear that, Bob? Totally different ball game, that, isn't it? And that is up on the green as well. I'm going to give it that time. That was a different class altogether, which it's going to be. It's going to be a different. Get a head cover with this as well. No head cover with the Slazenger, not even like a sock. But let's go and see where they are. Oh. And let's start to talk numbers, because that's probably why you're all here. 199 minus 1499. How much?
I don't know.
This is a big difference, isn't it? Like, it was a big difference in ball flight, a big difference in feel and performance. And when you do hit them out here in the elements, out of the rough, so we've got the first shot here, which was obviously the 1499 Slazenger. The second one, I mean, I don't know how it's not gone in. It was drawing nicely onto it. And that's a 20 yard, 25 yard difference. So, and real world elements here, not just hitting it into a screen. You've got a kick in for your birdie. Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? Let's finish off. So realistically, when push comes to shove here, can you play golf with the £14.99 club? We're 200 yards out on the 18th hole. Can I hit a nice golf shot? Yes, you can. Where's that? That's left side of the green. Lovely high flight. Caught it a little bit duffy, but realistically, it's done okay. Can I hit? Should I hit? Will I hit a good golf shot with a £200 hybrid? You would hope so. And this is where you kind of put yourself under probably more pressure to hit a good shot, because you've spent the money, you're invested in the club. Everyone knows you're spending money, and you hit that. That's miles better, isn't it? Drawing off the lie a bit, but again, up there at a similar distance. So, I finished this video for the first time ever, I think, with a question. What would you do? Guys, get in the comments below and let me know. I'm off to sit on our new stool that my wife bought while I was buying this. That was more than the hybrid. Okay, so we know that the Wilson is £200. Let's have a look at the numbers for that, then let's have a look at the numbers for the Slazenger £14.99 hybrid, because these are obviously two incredibly different clubs, but they're exactly the same length and they're exactly the same loft, so potentially how much difference can there be for that big gulf in price? Okay, so just how good is this Wilson Dynapower hybrid in here in the studio when it comes to numbers? You'll see we've got it brand new actually, so we'll take the wrapper nicely off it there. That looks absolutely gorgeous, doesn't it? So we have, as you can see, that Power 360 face. You can see we have a little bit of kind of V-Steel-esque technology to help us through the turf, and we have 22 degrees of loft on this 4 hybrid. There's no adjustability on here, which is a little bit of a shame, because I think as soon as you start getting to that kind of £200 mark, you would want a little bit of adjustment, especially in a hybrid. The hybrid is the club where you might knock it down or up depending on the day, depending on the golf course and things like that. But it does look very nice and traditional. I like the little red mark down the back. And that felt absolutely fantastic. It's quite high spin, but then again, it is 22 degrees of loft. So I would hope here for around a 200-yard pitching club. For me, if this is replacing my 4-iron in the bag, I quite like that. 212 total, 5,000 spin. One of the key things here is going to be, can we knock that down in flight? Can we just level it a little bit? But we'll hit some nice normal shots first to kick off with. That wasn't a good strike at all. How far is that going to go? Still trying. I would hope that did a little bit better. That was high out the face. It was a little bit duffy into the mat. Now that's a nice one because that was a little bit bottomy. 4007 spin, so it's going to have that extra spin rate. But as you can see, that Power 360 face has kind of helped us get, still that 200 plus carry, 207, 220 total. And that for a miss hit's exactly what you want from this kind of club, in my opinion. Lovely, same again. I don't mind that I'm catching these bottomy because for a hybrid, sometimes you want it just to kind of fly up in air. It's still carried over 200, so potentially for those kind of long par threes, those long par fours, even some of the par fives maybe, this could be a club that you potentially have in there instead of the 4-iron to help you, well, rescue yourself. These used to be called rescue clubs, didn't they? Now they're kind of hybrid clubs, but that was really nice. Really nice, and I quite like how easy that is to launch because it is just going kind of straight up in the air, and once again we're bang in the middle, 206, a 199 carry, we'll call that one. Now's the point where we kind of separate the wheat from the chaff. Is that a saying? Is that a saying? I'm not sure that's a saying. We separate the weak from the strong, we'll go with, Bobby. If I can flight this down and kind of drop the spin a bit, still get it out there, then this is one of the best hybrids of the year. Oh, it's tried, hasn't it? I've turned it over a touch. The spin's dropped 4-2, which is pretty decent. You can see it's gone further because of that, but I have pulled that just a little bit as well. I'd want to hit that shot, but nice and straight. 230 total. It's not a bad number. 200 pounds. See, that's the... I feel like I've done everything right there to flight it down, but it still rose up in the air. It's still that kind of 5,000 spin. The numbers are good, the distance is very good, the total distance is good. I'm pleased with everything there, but I do feel like I could just potentially try and flight that down just a little bit more. Let's go a couple more. It's just wanting to climb too much. Now, for a lot of golfers using a hybrid, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Again, it's carrying over 200, it's bang down the middle. It's not necessarily the most versatile club of the year, but that doesn't mean to say that it doesn't do what a lot of golfers would want it to do at this loft and has this kind of head shape. Let's get back out on the golf course and see if this is decent value for money or not. Okay, pretty good numbers there for the Wilson. Let's have a look at, let's see, so this should have been $29.99 brand new. Right, steel shaft, obviously, you can't get this in a graphite shaft, so please don't comment saying, oh, swap the shafts over, because that shaft's worth a lot more than $14.99. Immediately feels heavier, but the head shape's quite nice. And I'll tell you what, 4001 spin, is that going to carry over 200 yards? Yes, it is. 217 total, and we're on the fairway with the first shot with the Slazenger. Can you see that, Bob? You see that over there? Do you know what that is? It's a cat amongst the pigeons. Unbelievable stuff. Potentially. I don't mind that ball flight. That's that one where I kind of catch it high out the face, but we did that a couple of times with the Wilson, didn't we? It's still marching up there to 190 yards. This feels incredibly heavy, which it's always going to do, obviously. It's a steel shaft, but I actually feel like I can load it quite nicely. It's not the fact it's steel that's the problem, it's probably just a kind of cheaper material steel. Certainly, I'd say we're struggling to maintain that dynamic loft on this one as opposed to the Wilson. I think the Wilson, I can flight it out there a little bit better than I would want to. But I think the swing's looking good, the spin rate's good, all the speeds are good. Let's go a couple of normal ones and then try and maybe flight them down. Head shape wise, oh, there we go. That was really nice. Head shape wise, I like it. I think it looks really, really nice and modern, I suppose you could say, in a sense. And they actually look quite similar on the bottom, don't they, a little bit? They're both trying to get that little bit of kind of, I always call it V steel. I can't really say that because they're not tailor-made clubs, but They're trying, aren't they? Obviously, there's no Power 360 face in this. There's no adjustability on either of them, actually, so there's not, can't really moan about that. The one thing I'll say is they are kind of kicking up, aren't they? Like, I do feel like the numbers are okay. I think, to be honest, for the price, I mean, you think you could buy 14 of these? I think.
A lot of boring math later.
Not that you'd want them, but you could buy a full set of these for just that one Wilson. Can we flight it down? That's me trying to flight it down. The spin's dropped nicely. It's a lower spin actually than we had with the Wilson. Just going a little bit left. Again, it's over 200. There probably is a kind of 10 to 20 yard difference on those shots if we had a look, isn't there? Because the Wilson really was kind of getting out there a little bit hotter. But again, for the price and for maybe slower swing speeds, are you really going to see a big difference? Because I've hit that really well, and that's going to pitch about 205. For £14.99, I'm going to say something a lot of people aren't going to like.